Um, so God is seen as omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent. God created the universe how exactly wanted without relying on any materials from nothing, ex nihilo. He's the ultimate creator and revealed himself from his creation. He created the world in 6 days and 1 day rest. Light from darkness. Shekinah is a divine presence, and it means dwelling or settling of a divine presence, and his cosmic glory and God's cosmic glory. Does not occur in the Hebrew Bible, but it's in rabbinic literature. The transcendent experience of God. There's tabernacle, was the promised land, Temple of Solomon, to transfer the Shekinah from the tabernacle to the temple, and Ark and Commandments transferred. So Ezekiel 43:2 says about the earth shone in his glory, referring to God. Many Jews believe the world's design reveals the presence of God in the world. The Lord went before them in a pillar of cloud by day, and then to guide them, and a pillar of fire by night. God used a pillar of clouds and fire to guide the slaves and Moses. The Lord looked down upon the Egyptian army from a pillar of fire and cloud and threw them into panic. God's presence protects the Jews as they cross the Red Sea. That's in Exodus 13:21 and 14:24. Exodus 24:15. Covered by cloud, Mount Sinai, the presence of God on the seventh day was seen by fire on top of a mountain. Exodus 40:33-34. When Moses finished building the tabernacle, the cloud covered the tent of meeting and God's presence filled it. 1 Kings 6:11-13. Temple of Solomon. God 12 transferred from the tabernacle. Temple built by King Solomon in 957 BCE. When the temple was destroyed, people were wicked and God left the temple but returned when a new one was built. The Jews were captured in Babylon until 70 CE, where it was destroyed again and God's presence returned to heaven. So the nature of God in Judaism. God is one. The Shema is the Jewish statement of faith and says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, and the Lord is one." This means God cannot be divided into parts, he is indivisible. God made the world from nothing. This means God created, power, willed the world to exist. He is also pre-existent and eternal. This means he continues to sustain his creation. It's everlasting. He exists through time, but no beginning and no end. God wants people to live in certain ways, so he gave them laws, starting with Adam and then Noah. Later he gave those laws to Moses. The story of the flood shows God as judge. In this sense he can be punishing, but also merciful and loving. The story of Noah shows all these qualities. God cannot be truly known. He reveals himself through his creation, his divine presence and prophets can never be truly understood. God has qualities that are beyond human ability, such as being all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving. Okay, so Jews believe God gave them laws to exercise their free will the way God wanted them to. Foundation for these laws were 10 Commandments or Mosaic Covenant. Laws were believed to be given in 13th century BCE. There are 613 mitzvot, and that's what laws are called. Halakha is the Jewish laws from the Torah, which is a code of conduct. God requires them to do as what God wanted to. That's why Jews obey the laws. For creation to continue, to keep the covenants of the Abrahamic covenant and the promised land, and to teachings for a good, faithful life to achieve heaven or paradise. God judges all people for how well they follow the mitzvot and Ten Commandments. They believe God's judgment is just and fair, should be strictly followed. God gave the laws. They're great importance. He's merciful and decides their fate after death. God judges their actions in the past years and to ask for forgiveness and blessings to be better next year. So judge after death. Tabernacle was a portable tent where the presence of God was dwelling and worshipped, and taken throughout the 40-year journey to the promised land, where it was used and transported through the desert. Tanakh says about this journey they're led by a pillar of fire and cloud. Jews associate Shekinah with the Sephiroth, 10 attributes of God, created and can project himself, his presence as. The Prince of God left the tabernacle to heaven. His temple was destroyed and filled with wicked. So evidence for it was the temple wall in Israel, the promised land. Jews hope to bring back God to the temple again, and ancient artifacts were found. Picton Temple did have it. Since we have proof of a temple ruins directed in the Bible as the Temple of Solomon, the Ark and God's presence is missing, as it was stolen after destruction and God left the Ark